Welcome back to the National Hurricane Center. This is Ken Graham. I'm right here in our operations area. The time right now, 1:30 Central Time. This is your latest update on Hurricane Ida. What's the latest we have here? 100-mile-an-hour winds. That's one of the bigger updates. We have been calling for this intensification of the winds, and it looks like it's happening. And you could just see here. I mean, look at the center here, really getting much more pronounced. This storm is strengthening, and you can see it with the I formation. You can see with this intense convection around the storm becoming extremely healthy. 100-mile-an-hour winds. That's one of the big updates. Also, still moving northwest at 16 miles per hour. So let's look at that latest information that we have from Dan Brown's on the desk over here, watching our storm and getting you the latest. And this is his brand new forecast. Going to be becoming a major hurricane, and we're going to continue to march over warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico. So we're still going to have continued strengthening. We're not done yet. It's going to get stronger, and we are forecasting a Category 4 storm, and that's 140-mile-an-hour winds is in our prediction right around this area on the Louisiana coast. So significant, dangerous winds. And remember, it's not just at that point, because look how far the tropical storm force winds stretch out from the center, about 130 miles, and you also have hurricane force winds stretching slightly out from the center as well. So let's carry those forward with time. You see, it's not just that center, it's a larger swath. This is the tropical storm force winds, and you can also see the hurricane force winds in this expanding wind field. So those hurricane force winds, destructive right by the center, but as far away as the New Orleans metro area, you can see some of these hurricane force winds. So power outages, trees down, significant large impact when it comes to this wind. And also with a major hurricane, it's going to take time for those winds to come down. So you can see that hurricane force wind even stretch inland. So people like in Baton Rouge, you really need to really look at this. And I think it's so important when you look at this track. Remember, little wiggles matter. And if you have a situation like this, so what if we move the forecast a little bit? A little wiggle is normal. So if a little wiggle off to the right side brings the city of New Orleans more in the core winds for hurricanes, which means it's more destructive. You got to be ready for this. I mean, we've been talking about the rain and storm surge. We got to talk about the wind as well. Those core winds could get into the city of New Orleans, and prolonged power outages. If that makes you uncomfortable, it's okay to go. It's okay to go. So listen to those local officials and be somewhere safe for this storm. So that's that one there. The other one I want to do real fast is, we talked about the center. And remember, I mean, this actually really shows how the little wiggles matter. Look at this large area, the potential for that tropical storm force winds. That's a large area that can see that. But the arrival of the tropical storm force winds reaching Plaquemines Parish early tomorrow morning, and then stretching further into Plaquemines Parish, get into Orleans, Jefferson, get to Terrebonne, Lafourche during the morning hours tomorrow. So you got today. You really got the rest of the day. 1:30 Central Time. You got some daylight for another 6 hours or so, Dennis, approximately. And so you got to be able to start ramping things up and take care of what you need to. And if you're uncomfortable with any of these conditions, you listen to those local officials and get out. Here's the storm surge. So we look at bigger, smaller, left, right. We look at those little wiggles. We actually put all those little wiggles into this map, and we come up with 1,000 scenarios, and we come up with a potential peak surge. Look at these values. It's life-threatening. Mouth of the Mississippi River to Morgan City, 10 to 15 feet above ground. That's well above my head, and I'm pretty tall. And so it's a situation that's just it's dangerous, life-threatening. You lose your life in that kind of water, and it's not just along the coast. That water sneaks into the bays like Vermilion Bay, where you can get 6 to 9 feet of storm surge. Morgan City, intercoastal city, 6 to 9. Also, mouth of the river back up to Ocean Springs, 7 to 11 feet, where you get that east fetch pushes that water in there, pushes it through the Wrigley's into the lake. Right now we're forecasting 4 to 7 feet. 4 to 7 feet of storm surge in Lake Pontchartrain. So Mandeville, places like that on the North Shore, just Lacombe, watch out for this rain. Slidell, mouth of the Pearl River, where I-10 crosses over into Mississippi and the Louisiana border. These kind of areas they're going to get a lot of water up in there. Ocean Springs to the Mississippi-Alabama border, even 4 to 7 foot of storm surge. So dangerous situation. Got one more hazard. We got another hazard that's life-threatening. If it wasn't enough, there's more to put on top of that. It's the rainfall. A life-threatening amount of rainfall in this forecast could lead to some serious, Weather Prediction Center saying the high risk of flash flooding. It's the highest risk that they have. Some of these areas, 10 to 15 inches of rainfall in red. That's huge. And some areas could get 20 inches of rain. And if you put that on top of all that storm surge, it's just hard to drain that water. So the city of New Orleans, back over to Baton Rouge, could get some of these high totals. But remember, it's not just on the coast. You're looking even central portions of Mississippi, Natchez, Vicksburg, Jackson, even up to Tupelo. Some of these areas could get some significant rainfall, maybe even 8 to 10 inches of rain in some cases here. So pretty dangerous. Mobile, back to the Mississippi Gulf Coast. I don't know where those rain bands are going to set up, but wherever they do, it's going to be heavy rain. And that right front quadrant up in here, that's where you get your tornadoes as well. So I think there's every hazard I could think of in this storm. That's why it's so dangerous. So we need you to be ready. This is it. Got to wrap up all your preparedness. If you're going to leave, you need to do it now. This is Ken Graham on the latest information on Hurricane Ida from the National Hurricane Center.